This is the cherry on top of what has not only been a horrible season for the Blue Jays, but a horrible way of managing your young core. We have heard from industry experts about the Blue Jays' plans at this upcoming trade deadline, as well as their plans with Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And based on the way that they have handled these two young players so far, they are absolutely screwing up their chances of extending either of them for the long term. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Blue Jays Today. In this one, we're going to be covering the latest extension talks around Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette, and how the front office has managed to screw up, potentially signing back one or both of them. Before we get into it, guys, I encourage you to hit that like button and smash that subscribe button if you enjoy Blue Jays news and content. When Guerrero and Bichette first arrived in Toronto, the front office and many fans envisioned these two guys as being the future of the Blue Jays for the long haul. And in their first full seasons in 2021, that duo became all-stars. Bichette led the entire league in hits, while Vladdy, he led the entire league in home runs and was second in MVP votes. And while it was super exciting to watch both of these guys blossom into all-stars and MVP type players, there was doubt whether the Blue Jays could realistically afford to extend both of these players, because after those two great seasons, their value has never been higher. So Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro decided to wait to see if those two guys would actually be worth the dollar amounts that they were commanding at the time. And so they decided to wait. And they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they waited, and they continued to push off any extension conversations, and that's where the Blue Jays screwed up big time. And while waiting to extend them may have decreased their value from 2021, it caused an entirely new problem. Both Bo and Vlad are only 1.5 years away from free agency, and they're beginning to smell the free agency money. And because of that, the extension conversations have all come to a stop. John Heyman says in a New York Post article, "Word is past long-term negotiations with both stars never came to a close agreement. And folks who know the pair believe the Jays have little to no chance to lock up Bichette, and maybe only a slightly better chance with Guerrero." The only reason why the Blue Jays even have a chance with Guerrero to begin with is because Guerrero has said that he's open to an extension. In 2022, Vladdy said to Hector Gomez, "I am open to signing a long-term deal with the Blue Jays. I feel really happy playing here. I hope something can be done about it this offseason." And of course, the Blue Jays did nothing that offseason. Now, that's not to say that Vladdy won't be extended this offseason, or hell, even when he's a free agent, but who knows what kind of budget the other MLB teams might have for Vladdy if he hits the free agent market. But Bichette, on the other hand, seems like he is ready to move on from the Blue Jays entirely, especially after his recent comments about him potentially being traded away from the Toronto Blue Jays, seemingly having no sympathy about that transaction. So it leaves the Blue Jays in a really awkward and uncomfortable position. Do you trade away Vladdy and Bo Bichette at the trade deadline to recoup any value, or do you stick with both of those players for one last run in 2025 with the risk of losing both of them? Well, Bob Nightingale said in a recent article that the Blue Jays still want to make one last run with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. They should be staying until at least this winter, if not next summer. Time for a quick shout out to Betway. Betway is the best place to make all of your sports bets on all of your favorite teams. Betway is also in collaboration with iGaming Ontario. Must be 19 years older to participate. And guys, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content. So let me get this straight. The Blue Jays think it is best to keep both Bo and Vlad on a roster that has proven to not be playoff caliber for 2025, have them potentially walk after that season, get little to no value in return, only to sink your franchise into an even longer rebuild after that year? Yeah, that sounds like a front office that is royally up. In my opinion, looking at the roster right now, it is time to plan beyond 2025. And based on the way Vladdy is playing, you have to sign that guy back for the next window of this Blue Jays team, and you have to look to see if you can get any trade value from a guy like Bo Bichette. But that's just my opinion, guys. You let me know your opinion in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, guys, go Jays go.